1.m.nothing is wrong. No emergency. No deadline. No danger in the room. And yet your mind is still talking, replaying a sentence you said 6 hours ago, rehearsing a conversation that hasn't happened. Yet you tell yourself to stop. That doesn't work. You tell yourself it's pointless. That doesn't work either, because the part of you that overthinks was never trying to torture you. It was trying to protect you, and by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how and why that changes everything. Let's start with what it actually feels like, not the definition. The experience. You finish a conversation. It seemed fine in the moment, but hours later, your mind goes back to it. Uninvited. Asterisk. Did that come out wrong? Asterisk. Did they notice? Asterisk. Why did I say it like that? Asterisk. There's no new information. Nothing has changed since it happened. And still, your mind runs the tape again. And again. Some people overthink the past. Others overthink the future. A decision that hasn't been made yet. A risk that hasn't materialized. A version of tomorrow that may never arrive. Either direction, the pattern is the same. Your mind is not resting in the present. It's stuck in a loop, checking, predicting, reviewing, as if something is still unresolved. This isn't a character flaw. In psychology, this pattern has a name, rumination. And rumination isn't random noise in your head. It's a specific cognitive process, repetitive, focused, and in its own strange way, purposeful. The question isn't, why am I broken? The question is, what is this loop actually for? Here's the part most people never hear. Overthinking is not a sign of weakness. It's frequently a sign of a nervous system that is highly attuned to risk, to social nuance, to the gap between what happened and what could happen. Many overthinkers are the same people who notice a shift in someone's tone before anyone else does, who sense tension in a room before a word is spoken, who can imagine 5 outcomes of a decision before making it. That sensitivity is not a defect. It's a finely tuned detection system. The problem isn't that your mind notices things. The problem is that the system doesn't know when to switch off. It treats uncertainty the same way it would treat danger, and once you understand why, the loop stops feeling like a personal failure and starts looking like a machine doing exactly what it was built to do, just in the wrong context. You are not broken. You are running a very old survival program in a very modern world. Let's look at that program. To understand overthinking, we need to understand a part of the brain called the default mode network, a set of regions that activate whenever you're not focused on a task in front of you. Daydreaming, self-reflection, mentally time traveling to the past or future. This network is essential. It's how you plan, how you make meaning, how you learn from experience. But this same network, when it becomes overactive, is strongly linked to rumination, the mind circling the same unresolved thought without producing a resolution. Now pair that with something older, the brain's threat detection system, centered in a structure called the amygdala. The amygdala doesn't distinguish well between a real threat and an imagined one. To the amygdala, a tiger in the grass and an awkward text message you sent an hour ago can trigger a similar alarm. Your body doesn't know the difference between I might be embarrassed and I might be in danger. It just knows. Unresolved. Stay alert. Keep checking. This is why overthinking feels physical. Tight chest. Shallow breath. A restlessness that has nowhere to go. That's not just anxiety. That's your body preparing for a threat that exists only as a thought. Here's the metaphor that makes this click. Imagine a smoke detector that's a little too sensitive. It doesn't just go off during a fire. It goes off from steam, from toast, from nothing at all. It's not malfunctioning because it's weak. It's malfunctioning because it's overcalibrated, set to alert at the smallest possible sign of smoke. Just in case. Your overthinking mind works the same way. It's not weak. It's overcalibrated. Somewhere along the way, through experience, through upbringing, through moments where being caught off guard actually cost you something. Your mind learned. If I think about this enough, I can prevent it from hurting me again. This is called intolerance of uncertainty, a well-documented cognitive trait where the brain treats not knowing as inherently threatening and responds by generating more thought, hoping thought will produce certainty. But certainty was never something more thinking could give you. You cannot think your way into knowing what someone else meant. You cannot think your way into guarantee a future outcome. So the loop doesn't end with an answer. It ends with exhaustion. There's one more piece. Psychologists call it metacognition. Thinking about your own thinking. Most overthinkers don't just have anxious thoughts. They have beliefs about those thoughts. Like, if I stop analyzing this, something bad will happen. Or thinking about it more means I care. That belief is the real engine. Not the thought itself, the thought about. The thought. You're not just worried, you're worried that stopping the worry is dangerous. That's the trap. And once you can see the trap clearly, you can finally step outside of it. Understanding the mechanism is step one. Working with it, not against it, is step two. Here are 5 principles, each grounded in what we just covered. In psychology. This is called cognitive defusion, creating distance between yourself and a thought by observing it rather than merging with it. When the loop starts, silently say, this is rumination. This is my mind trying to create certainty out of an uncertain thing. You are not stopping the thought. You are changing your relationship to it, from inside the current to standing on the bank, watching it pass. That shift alone lowers its intensity, because a threat you're merely observing activates the nervous system far less than a threat you're immersed in. This technique is called worry postponement, and it works with the brain's alarm system. Instead of fighting it, set aside 15 minutes a day, same time, same place as your official thinking time. When a worry arises outside that window, tell yourself, not now. I'll think about this at 6 p.m. Most of the time the urgency fades before 6 p.m. arrives. This isn't suppression. Suppression backfires. The more you try not to think about something, the more it resurfaces. A well-documented effect called the rebound effect of thought suppression. Postponement is different. You're not blocking the thought, you're just rescheduling it. And a mind that trusts It will get its turn quiets down faster than a mind that fears being ignored. Overthinking almost always lives in hypothetical time, the past that can't be changed, the future that hasn't happened. Grounding techniques work because they pull activity back toward present-focused brain regions and away from the rumination-linked default mode network. Try this. Name 5 things you can physically sense right now. Not think, sense the weight of your body in the chair, the temperature of the air, a sound in the distance. This isn't a distraction trick, It's a redirection of attention toward a channel your anxious mind cannot use, because rumination requires abstraction, and abstraction cannot survive full sensory presence. The moment a thought leaves your head and becomes words on a page, something changes. This is sometimes called cognitive offloading, using an external structure to hold what your working memory keeps struggling to hold. Your mind loops partly because it's afraid of forgetting the unresolved thing. Once it's written down, the brain receives an implicit signal, asterisk, this is stored. It doesn't need to be held anymore. Asterisk, you don't need a perfect journaling practice. You need one sentence. Asterisk, right now I'm worried about underscore. Asterisk, that's often enough to loosen the grip. This is the deepest layer. And the most important one, every loop is guarding something, a fear of being unprepared, a fear of being rejected, a fear of repeating an old pain. Instead of fighting the thought, ask it a quiet question. Asterisk, what are you afraid will happen if I stop thinking about this? Often the honest answer is small and human. I don't want to be caught off guard again. Asterisk, I don't want to disappoint someone. Asterisk, once you can name what it's protecting, you can thank it and then gently tell it. Asterisk, I see the danger you're watching for. I've got this from here. Asterisk, this isn't a script trick. In psychological terms, it's closer to self-compassion research, which consistently shows that treating your own inner experience with warmth, rather than criticism, reduces the physiological stress response more effectively than force ever does. Let's bring it together into a single image. Your mind is a smoke detector. It was built to protect you, not to torment you. It goes off not because you're weak, but because somewhere, at some point, it learned that vigilance kept you safe. You cannot rip a smoke detector off the wall and expect to feel safer. That would only create a different kind of fear, the fear of missing a real danger. What you can do is recalibrate it, teach it, slowly through repeated evidence, that not every steam cloud is a fire, that not every uncertainty is a threat that you can tolerate. Not knowing and still be okay. Every time you name the loop instead of drowning in it. Every time you postpone the worry instead of obeying it instantly. Every time you ground yourself in what's real instead of what's hypothetical. You are not silencing the alarm system, you are teaching it a new threshold. And a nervous system, given enough patient evidence, does learn to recalibrate. That is not a metaphor. That's how neuroplasticity works. Repeated experience reshapes the very circuits that generate the pattern in the first place. So if it's late, and your mind is still turning something over, you don't have to fight it. You don't have to shame yourself for having a mind that notices, that anticipates, that cares enough to check twice. You just have to remember what it's actually doing. It's not trying to ruin your night, but it's trying, in its own imperfect and overzealous way, to keep you safe. You can thank it for that dot, and then gently, not by force, but by practice, you can teach it that you're safe enough now to rest. Not every thought needs to be finished tonight. Some of them are allowed to just stop